So, guys, I got a couple topics to get over, namely Trevor Lawrence, Daniel Jones, and Dwayne Haskins in no certain order. But I did want to let you guys know that me and TSR will no longer be doing the Big Blue Breakdown. We kind of scrapped that for numerous reasons. All that being said, though, guys, we will be still working together. We'll still be doing calling the game on alternating channels as far as the Giants go. It will be this week, obviously. Well, last week it was on my channel. This week it's going to be on his channel. If you like what you're watching, though, guys, do me a big favor and smack that like, and let's get into the bulk of the video. So unless you've been living under a rock, Dwayne Haskins has been benched for Kyle Allen, and Dwayne Haskins has been moved to the third-string quarterback. And just like Dwayne Haskins, a lot of Giants fans have begun to put out in the ether, well, maybe it's time to bench Daniel Jones and see what Colt McCoy has. A lot of Giants fans are done with Daniel Jones. I am not one of those guys. And just like Dwayne Haskins, I didn't think Dwayne Haskins had a fair shake in Washington. I don't agree with what's happening to Dwayne Haskins. I wasn't high on Dwayne Haskins, but it doesn't mean he can't be a good quarterback in the NFL. You've got to have a good support system, and you've got to have a team that believes in him. And it's very clear Washington football team does not believe in Dwayne Haskins, and I really do feel for the kid. That being said, though, Daniel Jones. I'm not saying a benching for a quarter or a game or half would do Daniel Jones any good or bad. I mean, you look back to guys like Phil Simms who have been benched in the past. It did Phil Simms some good. So maybe, a benching could clear Daniel Jones' head. But I'm not ready to give up on Daniel Jones. And before anybody thinks that I'm just making excuses for Daniel Jones, I'm not excusing the mistakes he's made. They've been bad. I'm not excusing him of staring down a wide receiver or a tight end or whatever. He has. He's got to get better. But I'm going to give him the entirety of the season, which the Giants are most likely going to do, to prove that he is that franchise quarterback and to prove that he is a capable quarterback in this league. And I think he can be. I think he can be a more mobile Kerry Collins. Just not as strong an arm as Kerry. I thought Kerry had a pretty strong arm. And that's what I think of Daniel. And if you don't like what I have to say about Daniel, well, don't listen. I don't know what to tell you. But I'm going to, I guess when it comes to this team and when it comes to the NFL, I understand Rome wasn't built in a day. And when you don't have a good support system for your quarterback and then want miracles, well, guess what? Miracles don't fucking happen. And people are tired of me saying Rome wasn't built in a day. Well, you've been losing for 8 years for a reason. One of the many reasons is you didn't support your QBs. Because I don't think Eli Manning was washed in 2012 or 2013 or 2014 or 2015. It was only in recent years where you really saw the decline. And why weren't the Giants winning or achieving anything in those years? Oh yeah, because they didn't support Eli Manning, just like they're not supporting Daniel Jones. This is why I argued for Pat Shurmur last year, leaving a system in place, because it would have done wonders for Daniel, and I think you would have seen a better version of Daniel Jones. But no, he, while trying to get better, also has to learn a new system. This is why you don't alternate hiring and firing. You hire a GM, and you hire a coach, and you hire all the rest of your coaches, and you go out with what you have. You don't make changes every year, and you hire a GM this year and you fire. This is why you don't do that. This is what bad organizations do. This is what Washington has done. That's why Washington hasn't had a quarterback forever. And the one quarterback they did have, they didn't think was good enough and let him walk in Kirk Cousins. This is what bad organizations do, guys. The Giants right now are a bad organization. However you want to shake that 8 ball and find out your answer, it doesn't matter. There's a multitude of problems on their team. And one of the ones is you need to support a young QB. And the Giants have not done it. I'm not excusing Daniel of mistakes. It's just a reality of this team. Now, as far as Trevor Lawrence goes, a lot of people have not liked what I've had to say about Trevor Lawrence. And I am not going to get on the Trevor Lawrence hype wagon. I'm not. Or hype train. I'm not. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not saying that Trevor Lawrence can't become a star in the NFL. He probably can. But if the Giants are unfortunate enough to get the number 1 pick, yes, they're going to draft Trevor Lawrence. But you know what I do want in place when Trevor Lawrence gets here? If he were to come here? A support system to make his development that much easier and not go through what Daniel had to go through or what Eli had to go through at the end of his career. Again, I'm not excusing what Daniel Jones does, but again, if Trevor Lawrence comes here, I want to make things as best as they possibly can be. Because you see what happens with a support system. And I'm going to use Patrick Mahomes as an example. The Chiefs had everything in place pretty much, besides maybe a defense, when Patrick Mahomes arrived. He sat 1 year behind Alex Smith and learned. And then they cut bait with Alex Smith because they said, this kid's got a lot of potential. And he came out gangbusters. Now imagine if the Chiefs had 8 years of losing, had switched head coaches and GMs, then went out and got Patrick Mahomes and then threw him out to the Wolves. Do you really think that Patrick Mahomes would have developed in the same way? I'm not saying he would have reached his potential at some point, but I think the maturation would have gone slower. And that's all I'm saying, regardless if it's Daniel or regardless if it's Trevor. Let's put a thing in place, and let's keep things in place to have these guys develop the right way so we can be that winning franchise. Either way, guys, catch my next video tomorrow. It's been OGR, and I am gone.